Hey guys, this is Geoff from Merlot Embargo here, and I've never done one of these, or we've never done one of these, but I thought it'd be fun to do a little production walkthrough of our song, It Could Be Worse. The song just came out recently, depending on when you're seeing this. Just kind of talk about how we went from this.
Why fix it if it ain't broke? As long as you stay afloat.
To the full song, which sounds a little more like this.
Shake off the dust, they said. Why can't you be content? You're lucky to be clothed and fed. So could you look?
So yeah, I thought I would just go through and show you the parts and talk a little bit about maybe the recording process and our production process. So yeah, we're Merlot Embargo. That's my wife and I, Scarlett, and our band. Usually the way it works is Scarlett writes all the songs for the most part. We're trying to do a little more co-writing, but traditionally that's kind of how we've done it. She's written the songs and I've been the producer and the guy that records it all and kind of comes up with a lot of the arrangement ideas, but a fair number of them. And of course our band is, contributing as well. But if you listen to the song, you kind of know that the main bits are of course the vocal, but kind of that guitar riff to kind of drive the song, the boo doo 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 boo doo 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 doo, and that sounds just like this. Here we go. So I was recorded on my Jazz Master. I don't use any real amps anymore. These are all virtual amps. So I have a Fractal. I've been using Fractal products for a long time. If you don't know them, they're kind of like Kempers and Helixes and Quad Cortexes, but I prefer Fractal. I think their amp simulation is as good, if not, I think it's better than anyone, but they're all good these days. Anyway, the guitar is my Jazz Master, which I think, you can see maybe right there, that guitar. And it sounds like this. So, and I'm just pretty much arpeggiating the chords there. I'll actually play it for you real quick. If my leash will let me. Yeah. So, the song's in E flat, and I'm starting off. You can see. Can you see my hands? Yeah, there you go. I'm just arpeggiating an E flat chord, and then suspending it. C minor, A flat. Over B flat, and that's the whole verse. It's nothing fancy. The chorus does something different. The chorus sounds like this. Yeah. So it has that kind of kind of rhythm, and that's just it starts on the 4 chord. But I'm not playing full chords, right? I'm just doing 2 notes there. So those are the main guitar parts. Obviously, there's a lot of other stuff going on too, which I'll show you. In the chorus, there's also this kind of funky strat part. You can hear that in context.
Side, and is it only right for you? What right side is the right side? What right side is...
Yeah, and then there's this little post-chorus jam section, which I think that part takes a little bit more prominence. Yeah, so those are pretty much the main guitar parts. There's an acoustic that doubles, almost doubles exactly the chorus guitar. That rhythm's still there. And in the verse, I think, I don't remember what the acoustic's doing. Is it even playing in the verse? Yeah, it's not even playing. I guess maybe it is in verse 2. Yeah, just kind of a palm mute thing. Yeah, so that's pretty much all the guitars. There's, some ear candy guitars that are happening and, some other stuff, but that's not really it is part of the song, but it's not the main thing. Here's, there's some stuff like this. Kind of this reverbed out thing, and there's, just some meat down here.
What right side is the right side? What right side is the right side? What side?
You can hear it kind of adds just a little bit of body, but not super prominent. Yeah, so that's the guitars. Vocals. Obviously, Scarlett is a fantastic singer. Here's what she sounds like, all by her lonesome.
Could be worse, they said. Laid up in a hearse and dead. Heroes have gone and fled. So could you look on the bright side? It could be worse, you guys. Our heroes could all tell lies.
Usually, my process is I'll record that, comp it all together, and then I'll do a little bit of tuning. Scarlett usually doesn't need a lot. She's pretty tight, but depending on the context, of course. A little bit of volume automation, not too much going on. By the way, I did not mix this song myself. I try not to mix Merlot Embargo's music unless, dire circumstances. Just because I feel like I'm too close to it, because I'm also kind of in the band and producing it. And, I appreciate having a set of outside ears to do, to hear hear things that I may not hear, because I'm just I got my head in it so deep. And we got a great mix engineer, Patrick Phillips, who is fantastic and really knocks it out of the park every time. So really happy with him. So this is kind of, to back up, this is more of a production walkthrough than a mix tutorial. If you look at my, all these plugins are basically disabled because I didn't even spend hardly any time mixing the song. So this is not the mix session. This is just the production session. Obviously, and we got a great mastering engineer too. Brandon is, really nails it every time as well. I like having those guys for some real objectivity. But anyway, back to vocals. So there's not a whole lot going on. There's the lead track vocal take all the way through, right? Main vocal. There's some doubles here in the choruses. I think I'm panned out. Yeah, Patrick probably kept that.
What right side is the right side? What right side is the right?
So in context, that just widens it out a little bit.
What right side is the right side? What right side is the right side? What side is the right side?
It's kind of a thicker sound. And then in the and that's the same thing in the last chorus. In the last chorus, I think we add some lower harmonies.
What right side is the right side? What right side is the right side? What side is the right side? And is it only right for you?
Now this song gets a little high in Scarlett's range. I think it goes up to a C. Anyway, whatever it is, we actually started the song earlier. If you heard in that demo version, I think that's in E, and we ended up in E flat, so it should sound a little higher.
Why fix it?
Yeah, it's even a half step up from what it is. And we may end up playing this even a little bit lower live. We'll see, because it's a bit of a strain. But for that reason, we didn't really do any high harmonies on this song. Just kind of stuck with the low harmonies. We did do some higher harmonies in the bridge because she could she could sing higher. I guess she could have done it in her head voice, but it's such a, she's singing it so powerfully on the main line that I kind of felt like it really needed a chest voice, a harmony, if it was going to have one of higher, to kind of blend and match. Or maybe it could have been a different part, I suppose, if she was going to sing something in head voice, but we didn't do that. So, but yeah, the bridge vocals sound like this.
Right around again, open up your eyes to the other side.
And there's the higher part.
From another's eyes, the world turns upside down.
Some more stacks.
Right around again.
So I think there's 3 parts. I think
Again, open up your eyes to the other side.
my vocal there is doubling her lower part. But yeah, that's it for the vocals. There's just the main, 2 doubles, 3 pairs of harmonies in the bridge, and 1 pair in the choruses. That's it. And a few select spots too here in the verse, right? I kind of like to do that sometimes.
Say, why can't you be content?
So yeah,
Why can't you be content? You're lucky.
just for one select line. And that's it. I guess I sang a harmony there.
If you're not the one they chose, could you?
Yeah. But that's vocals, so pretty simple to be honest. You can see I did a lot of edits here on the backups to kind of get things tight, and I did a little bit of automation to make it fit in a little bit better. When I send a session to our mix engineer Patrick, I usually don't, like I mentioned before, I don't really bother with too much processing on the channel. What I try to do is get the arrangement and the song just happening as great as I can get it, without spending a lot of mental cycles thinking about compression, attack times, and sometimes I'll throw a compressor on background vocals on a bus. I guess I got it here. You can see I got the the stock Pro Tools stuff, a compressor and a de-esser on one track. But I'd rather spend my mental energy, because I know that I'm hiring the mix, and I know my mix engineer is going to do a really good job. I'd rather spend my time thinking about the part and about the arrangement and the song, rather than kind of the minutia of what my reverb times are, and whether whether the guitar is fighting the vocal frequency wise in this particular spot. That's something that I'd rather, I could do that, but I'd rather spend my time doing other stuff. A couple of other things that are cool in this song, I think, I love the bass line. Typically when Merlot Embargo starts a song, Scarlett and I, or Scarlett, will send the song to me, and I'll start mocking it up in the computer, and I'll throw down some soft parts, soft instruments, virtual instruments, maybe some real guitars. Usually not when in the beginning. I usually wait for that. But one of the first things I like to record on a kind of a full production track like this is drums and bass, and we do that here in this room. Drums usually are set up right where I'm seated, and so that kind of just gives the backbone to the song. But anyway, all that being said, I usually kind of mock up a part, and then Jeremy our bass player, will come in and make it better, and I'll mock up a drum part, and our drummer Marco will come in and improve on that, because I'm just a bit of a hack at those things. But so this is the bass line that sort of I suggested and he improved. So in context,
It could be worse, you guys. Our heroes could all tell lies, and one of them could up and die. So could you look on the bright side?
pretty groovy, in my opinion. And there's other stuff going on. I did record a DI and an amp. Again, it's a virtual amp. I usually like to do that just to give some options. The amp, I never really make the amp too dirty. We can listen to what they sound like. But you can hear that's a little rounder than the DI. Sounds a little more, kind of, I don't know, kind of like a DI. Drums wise, just kind of standard setup, kick in and out, snare top and bottom, rack tom, floor tom. I threw a hi-hat on here too because he's doing some hi-hat stuff. Pair of overheads. I usually do recorder man method, thanks to my bud Matt Weiss, who taught me how to do that. It's a great way to keep the phase coherent for both kick and snare. And the idea is that you have each overhead mic is the same distance from the kick and the snare, and you can sort of measure that with a mic cable or whatever your method might be. But it's always worked for me. I guess I threw a room in there too. Yeah, one of the other things that makes this song happen too is is some of the keys. We've got, we didn't do this live with our keyboard player Dave. He sent the tracks over, but here's what they sound like. This is the chorus. So kind of playing that same rhythm with the guitars. But that's about a bunch of stacks. There's pianos. There's that synthesizer in there. It kind of sounds like a marimba.
What right side is the right side?
Just a simple piano. Another piano. Playing that line. And then there's that little kind of post-chorus jam section. Where these guys are kind of taken. Yeah, and that's the song. The rest of it is pretty much just ear candy. And, there's a tambourine, there's some, risers and stuff like that. But, a little bit of these plucky kind of sounds in the intro. I think these are, you can see a lot of this, some of this came from Hyperbits.
Heroes have gone and fled, so could you look on the...
Little simple things to kind of add a little bit of interest. There's occasional little loopy things that go on.
What?
Hi-hat loop, but claps on the the choruses. Kind of makes it a little bigger, but yeah, I mean that's the song. Like I said, this is the production, not the mix, but you can kind of hear all the parts and kind of see what goes into the way we make our music. Other people do it differently. This is kind of how we do it. So anyway, hope you dug it. Check out the song if you like it, and thanks for hanging. See you soon.